Hi, and welcome to the Halloween edition of Android Coliseum Hangout, number 138. And joining us tonight, we have the vampire from the Masquerade,
Hello, hello.
Death, Death,
Death, hi.
Wonder Woman,
I fight death every day.
and a hoser, because Canada, eh?
Yep, I can understand that.
So let's talk Android in Canada. First up, everybody's talking about the Preve. You guys excited?
I'm looking forward to it.
It's funny the amount of interest it's generating from even non-tech sectors that I've found. Like a lot of people who I've not really considered much tech fans are like, yeah, and you hear BlackBerry's going to be doing this, or who BlackBerry's going to be. I'm like, yeah. So they're very super interested in it. The fact that especially a lot of business people I deal with, they're really interested in just BlackBerry in general. So the fact they're like, well, BlackBerry's kind of dead, and but they want to get back to that keyboard, especially those business types like that keyboard. So I don't know, $1,000 essentially after taxes. Anybody?
Some companies still work with BlackBerry only. My brother-in-law works for Bombardier, and they are only allowed BlackBerry phones.
And like Martin will say probably too that the government, I think he said his
Yeah.
office had pre-ordered 1,000 of them or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's what was kind of neat. I think the news recently is that essentially BlackBerry has released their apps to the Play Store, which is kind of neat because we know now that it makes it easier for them to update their phone and their software versus because they can just update single apps instead of doing a whole firmware. I mean, Motorola, HTC, I want to say Samsung was doing it as well.
Maybe a bit.
Some of the stuff, I'm not sure. But so the more they can release it to the Play Store, it makes it a lot easier to distribute, a lot easier to maintain and update down the road. So this is really telling me that BlackBerry is really thinking how to make this as simple as possible for everybody down the road. So
Well, keeping it secure. So that'll enable them to keep it secure, and because that's one of their big selling points.
Right.
But like nothing will kill this launch or kill this line better than 6 months from now when it comes out with 6.1 comes out and they go, oh shit, this is going to take forever for us to figure out how to update to 6.1 and do that rollout. So the easier this happens, people are going to start getting pissed off if it doesn't happen as smoothly as it should. So the more they can make it easier, the better. People are going to be happy with BlackBerry on this end. So I think it's a lot of good forward thinking of where other companies like HTC, Motorola had to really get into it down the road.
Well, they're taking the benefit of other people's experience, for sure.
Sure enough, right? Yeah, they've seen other people's mistakes, and Motorola, HTC have been there from almost the beginning. So
Okay, well, that sounds interesting because it'll be really interesting. To me, it feels like, hard keyboards have come and gone, but apparently there are a lot of people that still like them. And of course, you don't have to use it if you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And you were talking briefly about Marshmallow, and tell us about have their Marshmallow rollout schedule. Martin, you want to talk about? I mean, Vampire from the Masquerade.
There's been a few posts about the cycles for Marshmallow for TELUS and Rogers, and TELUS is advertising that the Moto G 2015 edition should be getting its Marshmallow during December, as well as HTC M8 will be getting Android Marshmallow as well in December. They haven't specified a date, so it can be at any point in time during December, later or before. And as for what we see on Rogers has only advertised the M8 and the M9 for Marshmallow, but they haven't set any expected dates. So they're saying coming soon, but that's all we got so far.
Well, and you were saying before the show that Samsung is going to be struggling a bit with could possibly be struggling a bit with their Marshmallow update. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, Samsung had a bit of a hit and miss when it came to TouchWiz and Marshmallow, where there was a couple of issues. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of that later on.
Yeah, I got a global one, so I'm hoping it's not Polish, but still, I'm hoping that it gets an early update. So carry on, Vampirade.
Then we got Eastside Games. They've just announced that they're going to be creating a Trailer Park Boys mobile game. This is actually going to be interesting since Trailer Park Boys is Canadian, and I don't know how they're going to really make a game out of that one. I mean, it should be interesting. I mean, if it's anything like The Simpsons, hopefully it's not just going to be a tap and push type of game. But it should be interesting to see what comes out of it.
Well, I was starting to think, because I've been seeing it forever in my Netflix. Like, I thought I'd watched all the episodes before it came off the air. But apparently, I've missed like a whole post genre of them on Netflix. And I thought they were dead, and then apparently they're coming back stronger than ever. It seems like.
Yeah, they've got a movie out and everything, or they
Well, they had a movie out a while ago, and I think that was sort of like, wow, this was really.
I thought there was a second one.
And I guess so.
I should have been Bubbles instead of the Hoser. That just shows how old I am. But I thought of Hoser instead of Bubbles.
I always like the interviews they always do with Bubbles, and they talk about, because he used to be in a band called Sandbox, if you remember. But so they talked about he found those glasses at like one of those like thrift shops or whatever like that. He found these glasses, like, this would be really great for my character. And he says like the worst thing about it is that now at this point he's actually getting used to the glasses. So it's probably doing some damage there.
That might not be a good thing, actually.
No, I'm thinking not. Well, and Apple is making it easier for people to transition from an iPhone to an Android device. That's where you keep going.
Yeah, no, Apple is poised to release the Android version of their Apple Music, and we've had a couple leaked shots of the screenshot of the application that's been leaked all over the internet, and a lot of fanboys out there are just screaming for it. I mean, I'm not one of them, but if it's anything like iTunes, whether it's been used on an Apple, on a Windows station, or on Android, I mean, I'm just looking at it. I'm like, it's going to be fairly crap, personally.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of complaints about the adjustment people have to make to the perfection of iTunes. So hopefully music is not the same. So speaking of music, yeah, and I don't know, do we need another music service? Really?
I mean, there's so many to choose from at this point right now. Whether you're on Android or on an iOS device, I mean, Spotify, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, songs that I can keep going. There's a huge list. RDIO.
Shark, yeah.
I guess if people have their library on iTunes and they move to Android, they don't want to lose all that library, re-upload it to Google Music, learn something new. It will make it easier for them, I guess.
My point is, like, why would
double twist for that?
Yeah, there's double twists you can do that, but I mean, like, my big point I think is like, why does it seem like Apple's conceding the point? I mean, I know Google's always made apps in iOS because they've been that way, but I mean, for Apple to make it the other way around, this is their first app, I believe. They've also made a sync app that help get you off an S6 to onto Apple iPhone 6. But I mean, I just don't. To me, it kind of sounds like, okay, well, if you want to leave the fold, fine. Here we can still let you do your stuff. I want to say, like, do you think that they were kind of forced into doing that?
Nope.
Like, they just want to make more money, I guess. If they can sell to people that use Android, why not?
That's true.
Make more money.
Right? So.
And sometimes there are albums that are only available on iTunes. Then even maybe people like me and you will have no choice. If you want it, it will be only on iTunes, and it happens sometimes.
And I can't blame them. It would be a smart thing to do, because if you think about it, there's like almost 2.2 billion devices running Android. So they want to get a part of that market as well, I'm sure.
Well, and just because you're running Android doesn't mean that you're not running a Mac. So,
definitely.
Right.
There's all sorts of things that sort of play into that idea.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of playing and music, Google brings back a service from the dead and adds it to play music. So, Ryan.
Yeah. So, so Google announced recently that they're going to be integrating podcasting into the music app, which essentially people are thinking it's going to be some great podcasting app, but it's not really. It's just basically a curated list of popular podcasts that they'll be using. So they've already gone through about 150 of the most popular podcasts in the United States right now. And so what you can do now is go into Google Play Music on your device, on your phone, or onto your desktop, and say, "Here are the podcasts I want to subscribe to," and it'll have it'll integrate them into your Google Play Music playlist.
Okay.
So it's kind of a moot point for us because unfortunately in Canada we're not going to get it so soon. I guess the first roll is in the States. But I mean, if you have an obscure podcast or something that's not on that list, then you're SOL. You're not going to get that. But
I can see that.
So if we can ever figure out how to do podcasting on our show, chance of making it or not. But then again, who knows? This might open the way to make it into a podcatching app as well, which then gets on my whole thing of why did you kill off Google Reader if you're just giving an XML catcher? But anyways, if you remember way back in the day, those of you who had some of the older devices, like this HTC Dream, there was Google Listen, and thankfully Savon Googled that and figured out the actual name of it. I remember there was.
I remember it from back in the day. I used to be into podcasts.
Yeah, you could say, "I want to listen to these podcasts," and it would do it for you, kind of like Google Reader, podcatcher essentially, right? So hopefully soon, those of you who are doing podcasts or listen to podcasts can do that within the Google Play Music realm and not have to have a separate app.
That should be interesting.
I find it odd that they're curating, though. Like, why not just let you add anything you want to it?
Well, it goes along with your Google Play Music account, like your subscription.
Okay, rather than just playing your music back.
Well, I mean, because Songs makes these playlists, right? And that's what they bought Songs for. So that you can have just these specialized lists just for that thing you want to listen, to. So the same idea. They're like, well, okay, well, we're only gonna, because it's probably a huge undertaking to incorporate that into your Google Play Music account.
I guess.
To go through all that. So that's probably just the first rollout, and maybe down the road they're going to be having more come through. So
I can see that.
Limited.
Yeah.
Okay, well, in other Google news, they are starting, the Hoser's going to talk about this one. They're adding a feature to Google Keep, which is where you can draw on your notes. And I am really interested in this because I'm used to having Samsung products, and in their S Note app, you can draw anywhere on it. So when I got my S6, I thought, oh, great, I can draw, and I couldn't, so I had to go download that app. Hopefully soon. We're not sure when exactly it'll be rolling out in Canada, but as it rolls out, we'll keep you updated. Do you guys think you would like to draw on your notes?
Definitely.
I used to have an option to doodle on any of my pictures in the gallery of my 0.3, but with the update of the gallery, they took it off, and I really miss it because sometimes you just want to doodle something really fast on a screenshot. It's super handy.
Well, I like it because sometimes if I'm at a conference or something, I'll just want to take a quick note, and that way I can just write it on there and not have to worry about spelling mistakes. And autocorrects, especially if you're at a technical function and your autocorrect is changing it into words that you're going, what was that? It's like, I'm pretty sure that's not what I meant. But, so I am kind of looking forward to it. I, too, don't take that many notes on parade, but when I do, I want them to actually be something I can reference to rather than wondering what the heck.
I see.
Mm-hmm. So, and we're just ripping through. This could be a very short hangout. To Android TO, you guys are going? You've got your tickets? Talk about it, Dad.
Flight and time off. Yeehaw. So they're still working on all the workshops, all the things. So December 1st, Tuesday, December 1st, it's going to be at the Mars District. This is going to be part of Google's Gadget GDG DevFest season.
Yep,
so
they will.
We already have, let's see some of the exhibitors. Square is going to be there. We have somebody from Google, somebody from the Washington Post, Venmo, AgileVent, Notions, of course, who helps organize it. OnHub is going to be there, which we'll talk about in a second. And so that's it so far. But definitely looking forward to this event. So if you're anywhere near Toronto, obviously go. But if you can't go, come hang out with us. We'll be there. I'll be there the Monday night and Tuesday night. And then, yeah. But definitely, if you can go, I'm not saying this is going to be the big Android barbecue, but it's definitely going to be a nice event. A good chance to see what's happening in Google, what's happening in Android. What can you do? Where can we push the boundaries? I think it's always a kind of cool thing to see.
And it's going to be important to note that it's going to be obviously axed towards developers more than the common users, but, I mean, we'll make sense of that for you guys.
Right.
Not that I understand coding or anything, but same idea. Again, we can. It's really cool to see what's happening, what's going where with it, right? So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure. And, I mean, if you have time, Toronto is a nice place to visit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even in December. You can always go and see all the, like, Yonge Street and Riverfront, Lakefront.
All the troubles you can get into, trust me.
Poutine.
Poutine, yes. Poutine at 1 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the part I'm going to miss. I would like to be there with you guys just for the poutine.
Oh, that was the best.
So. I might have to go to New York Fries and get the fake stuff.
No. This stuff's totally fake as well. But
Yeah.
they don't have anything new with it.
But it's so fake that it's good. It's better than the original.
You know what? We went out of our
Now
way
I
last
feel like
time.
having that for lunch tomorrow. You guys.
Smokes Poutineery. We should be sponsored by Smokes Poutineery.
That'd be funny, actually.
We have to grow our audience first before we ask them for a sponsorship. Okay, well, the last thing we were going to talk about is then, like, Martin and I both have an OnHub.
We do.
I just fiddled around with mine. Thanks for that thing about the SSID. So I went and chucked the dogs out, made sure the husband wasn't home, and went and screamed at my router in the basement. Screamed at myself for putting routers in inaccessible places. But after I got over that part, I did get everything switched over, and now everything is being gone through, like everything goes through the OnHub, and all our printers are on the same network, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, like I said,
swapping
if you use the same SSID and the same password, it's a seamless transition.
Now, is that what they call a mesh network then, or is that
no.
different?
You're thinking about something different. A mesh network would be multiple routers linked to each other.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. I don't know anything about this stuff, so.
This was just a lot of our devices are older, and they only have push to connect. So you sort of have to push to connect, and then you have to change everything so that you can make your new SSID the same as the push to connect ID. So then it just thinks it gets fooled. But anyways, that's what I did on the weekend with my OnHub to optimize it. But now there are some new versions of the OnHub. The Asus one to me looked like it was just an upside down one.
It looked like a volcano. It had that volcano look, right?
Rather than a tumbler. Yes. But it's going to do more. So, Martin, do you have any insight into, like, I read what it was going to do, and I sort of went, oh.
To be honest with you, I was looking at both the TP-Link version and the Asus version, and I didn't see a whole lot of difference, but there's a few things that are different about the Asus OnHub versus the TP-Link. I mean, the Asus OnHub has what they call wave. So if you actually were to wave your hand over it, it would actually prioritize a specific device that's pre-configured. And that was one of the choices I saw. And I did see that the Asus OnHub was advertised at $219.99 US, and then you had the TP-Link, if I remember correctly, advertised at $279.99. So there's a price difference between both. I don't necessarily know that they're going to be completely different, but they might have a few different things on how everything gets managed or the integration and whatnot. So we'll have to see what comes out of it at some point shortly.
Well, maybe the Google one will sort of update quicker than the Asus one. But maybe not.
I mean, I'm hoping.
Yeah, me too. I did spend the big bucks.
Yeah, $305 with taxes.
Hmm. So anybody got anything else? So we can't talk politics. That was last week.
Well,
It's all old news now.
That's true. We do have your review on the Galaxy S6.
Yes. Yeah. I really like Samsung, so like it's not like the Galaxy S6 is. I've had it for a week now. It was interesting because I did get the United Arab Emirates version, and it actually says that on the phone. And some people have had a little problem with region unlocking, but I haven't so far. And it did get updated to 5.1.1, so far so good.
The LTE bands are compatible, and
Yep.
there's no problem.
Yep. I did. The nice thing about getting it on Expanses is they actually say for each version, for each model number, they say which networks it's compatible with.
Okay.
Just straight out. It doesn't say, oh, here are the bands, and you have to go, that's this and this.
Right.
So that was really nice.
That's good.
Yeah, it came up from the States, came in 5 days. They were I was probably the importer of record for that. What else was there? It's a bit different because it's not Canadian. I think a lot of the banking app doesn't register it as an S6 because the Canadian version is the 920
the
W8.
number is different. Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting, but I like it. So that's the main thing.
Good. Enjoy.
Yeah. Everybody, that's the thing about Android, so many devices, there's no reason to be frustrated with what you have because you can always just get something different.
Quite true.
Move everything over. But you had Martin, you had another comment on the OnHub.
Yes, I did, and that's great. I have to give credit to Ryan because he's the one pasting the link. So really the difference between the Asus OnHub and the TP-Link OnHub is the Asus has that boost Wi-Fi on a particular device when you wave your hand over it, and the TP-Link one is a front-facing antenna reflector for greater range. So that's really the big difference between both of them. Outside of that, everything else is the same.
So range versus waving.
Yeah.
The only it's the priority mode. So the idea is like I wave over my hand over it. So devices I've already put in the app that say these are my priority devices. When I wave, make them priority, push everything else down.
And now here's the thing: you can do the exact same thing just by going on the app, the current OnHub we have, and just selecting the device.
But like the only thing I don't get is like how do you like wave over it, but nothing that says it's doing that priority mode? Like, is there any little indicator? Because like, what happens if I do that and I walk away and then I leave my wife like with her phone just
No, there's
right?
there's no indicator.
Right. So. Oh,
So if I put a device on priority mode, I cannot see it visually. I have to go and take a look within the app.
So that's variable use. Because guess it just depends on how many. So can only one person wave it, or could you have little wave wars with sort of like remote war? No, well, I want priority.
The thing is, it would only enable the specific device that you've pre-configured to have priority.
To be the priority.
So basically, it's like the on switch for getting it good to go on.
So then you turn it on, then cast, and then Fred walks over and says like, no.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Then you're like, no, but I want it. And then Fred goes, no. So I'm kind of like worried, like if I were to do that and I forget to leave it and I leave it on where my device is on priority and then everything else in the house is not and slow.
Here's the thing: it's not it's not a permanent setting. It's only good for an hour.
So at most an hour. So
yeah.
Okay, makes sense. That's cool. I mean, that's neat. It's a neat feature that.
But I mean, it would be a neat feature if you have high bandwidth traffic on your device on your router, which most households will not even reach the capacity of what OnHub can actually dish out. Except maybe for Arthur, where he's got like something like 68 devices connected to it.
Well, you never know too. Once people start having more smart things, that might be might come up. Like what I would really like, I have to say, from OnHub is like, here's mine. I would like more descriptions, because seriously, Samsung, unnamed device, Panasonic, Canon, Samsung, an IP address, Canon, an unnamed device. Like, what the heck?
I would like to be able to rename some of these unnamed devices and get specific detail on each one of them. But I've also noticed that the device that I have actually wired to the OnHub, they don't show the bandwidth. They only show the wireless bandwidth for each one of them. So hopefully they'll address the actual network bandwidth as well, not only the wireless. I want more statistics.
I want more. I want to be able to name things. So, like, how can you prioritize when you have to guess which one you're talking? Like right now, I know which one is the Samsung because it's using all of the bandwidth. Because I think Fred's just watching TV. He's not watching Netflix. So
probably. And
even if he is watching Netflix, it's through the PS3, which is hardwired into another switch. So you know, I'm not going to see it.
I'd like a little bit more control than what we currently have. So hopefully we'll see something in the next version of the app.
You like control. I just like information. So
yeah, well, I like control for the fact that I have some specific needs. So I'd like to have a bit more control, but also display statistics or detail statistic, and let me rename some of these unnamed devices so I know what they are.
Yeah, for sure. Hard to prioritize an IP address.
Unless you know which one you need to prioritize.
Well,
I've assigned 4 static IPs to 4 devices, so they always get the same IP, but they're all named unnamed. But I know by the IP address which one's which.
Yeah, and I've gone dynamic with everything, so that's not going to help. Anyways, that's it, I think. We've got some upcoming reviews. I did the S6, but we will have an upcoming review of the 2nd edition of the Moto 360. The Note 5, the ZTE Axon, which was introduced yesterday, I believe, Death. Is that correct?
Yeah, so they had an event yesterday, and ZTE, it's funny, I've been seeing them everywhere talking about, when they announced, was it for Chicago? They're going to be like the thing for Chicago. Anyways, just kind of going everywhere. They had a big event to announce their Canadian launch of the ZTE Axon. Going to be available for, I think, $400 outright, or $0 on a 2-year plan at Fido. I'm forgetting now.
With these moderately priced phones, I think that I would definitely encourage people to, if they had some cash, to get to buy outright unlocked.
You know, I gotta say, my G4 is acting up right now. So to try out something different, I've actually been using my Idol 3 as my daily driver. Aside from being it's an okay phone, it's a nice breath of fresh air to try something different for a while. Just be able to shake it up. It's kind of nice to be able to do that. So I'm really enjoying it. So I'm really looking forward to the ZTE Axon.
Yeah, some people like to shake it up, and some people go, "No, this is what I like." That's where I'm at. So again, Android's for everybody. I think that's it, you guys. We're at time.
It brings us to the end, indeed.
I'm starting to sweat in this thing like crazy, so I'm ready to.
I have to say, my filter scarf is getting a little warm. How's Wonder Woman doing over there?
Good.
It's a smart choice.
I can't complain either.
Oh, but you have a vest on.
No.
Wonder Woman may be wearing shorts in her basement.
It's actually not a vest. It's like really, really thin material.
Suiting, probably. Anyway, so let's all say goodnight. You guys everybody have a safe and happy Halloween. Dress appropriately for the weather, and make sure that you can see properly and are seen well. Don't just hang out in malls and trick or treat at stores. Go meet your neighbors.
Download some Halloween watch faces.
I got a
Yes.
few, and I posted a few.
Or what was the Google Now command? Like, okay, Google, play some Halloween music. Right? So, anyways,
All right, guys.
thanks, everybody.
Have a good weekend. Have a good week.
See ya.
Uh,